approved spark arresters, ATVs, and motorcycles can't exceed 96 decibels in sound, and we'll have a means of testing that on site, and that's pretty standard in most facilities. Those of those larger vehicles that really, as John indicated, like to bring their big vehicle out there and try and bang it up and destroy parts of it. The expectation is that it's your responsibility to get any breakdowns or any vehicles off of the property and out of the trails as quickly as possible. The full-size vehicles will need to, you can see on the slide up there, the kinds of things that we would expect out of full-size vehicles in terms of roll bars and other safety equipment that are on them. For ATV and motorcycle users, helmets and goggles and the things that are typical of most places for riding those kinds of vehicles. We do want to try and protect the environment out there, and so those of you that end up getting off-road and need to use a winch, we want to make sure that you're using tree savers and that you're attaching only to trees that are of adequate size to use the kind of vehicle that you have, and under no circumstances cutting any kind of tree to use for anything. We will promote and utilize the tread lightly policies, and we haven't gone through that specifically, but those will be part of the standard out there as well. I've already addressed the issue and concerns about registration. Camping, in order to adequately manage and provide for camping opportunities, as we've kind of shown in the slide up here, we know that there are all kinds of ways that people want to camp, and so we've got a camping area right at the main entrance that'll handle the bigger kinds of vehicles as you come in. There will be a couple of other campsites for in more remote areas that'll be mostly primitive camping that will be accessible for use as well. It's our intent to allow the private sector to pick up on other kinds of camping that might be needed on the site. Campfires will be restricted to designated camping areas. It's not our intent that we would have all assigned campsites. It's likely that many of the camp areas will be simply large areas of ground where we'll have fire rings that will help to distinguish where you kind of need to be with those and allow you to set up and kind of circle the group as you come in and those kinds of things. In terms of swimming, there are some sites on the property that we know people have been swimming in, and the expectation is they would like to continue that. Swimming will be restricted to designated swimming areas that have been evaluated for safety, and that means that it may not happen that way immediately as we get in there. That may not be the first priority, is to get out and evaluate all the lakes to identify swimming areas, so it may take some time until swimming areas are available. The next thing deals with hunting. And we know that over the years that this property has been used for all kinds of hunting activities, and the county has indicated right from the start of this that providing for diversity of recreational pursuits includes retaining hunting on the property in a manner that doesn't have a negative impact on the operation of the facility and the economics of the facility and the uses of the facility. And so what we've tried to do is to establish a system whereby we can allow hunting, and I'll come back to that slide with the graphic that was up there in a minute. Essentially the way that it's anticipated at this point, and I need to indicate that all these rules and policies are still under discussion, but the way it's anticipated at this point is that the Alaska site would allow hunting. There would be hunting permitted on that property during the standard Pennsylvania Game Commission hunting seasons and according to their rules and regulations. That on the remaining parcels of the property that hunting would be permitted from the Saturday before Thanksgiving, or approximately then, using this year's calendar with the PA Game Commission, that happens to be the first day of bear season or maybe the second day of bear season. And so it would be from that first Saturday, or the Saturday before Thanksgiving, to run through about the first week of January. And if we go back then to the slide that I had up there before, you can see that what we tried to do was to get the time period that had the least effect on the OHV use and non-motorized other uses of the park, but hit the the greatest amount of opportunity for the types of hunting available. And so you can see in these time slots that there's, in the time slots that we've allocated, there's all of the typical small game hunting is available in there, as well as some of the turkey season, the bear season and black bear archery seasons, deer archery season at the end of it in December and into January, the deer rifle season, of course raccoon and fox, which antlerless deer during the flintlock season. It doesn't hit the muzzleloader for the deer, at least not this year, and then some of the other ones that go on for longer periods of time. So that's what we've tried to do, is to make it so that the hunting's available for as many of the kinds of hunting as possible. We had some debate about the fall season and just felt that the fall season was going to make it a little too difficult for us to manage the two activities at the same time. And so that's the recommendation that's come through. And then finally, I just want to talk to you for a minute about the fee structure. And fees have not been established for the facility out there yet. We're still working on the fees. Have to be done in conjunction with our business plan and looking at that as we go ahead. But what we did was we did a survey of about 15 facilities across the country. Again, primarily those that are east of the Mississippi. I've only got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I only have 7 of them up here because when we put 15, it got unreadable on the slide. But we did look at about 15 of them, and it turns out that the average daily pass for ATV use is about $20 across the places that we looked at. Some of them are lower in the $15 to or $17 and $18 range. Some of them are higher, as high as $25 or $28. For the OHVs, we found that the average fee was about $35 for a day. Ranged up to about $50 or $60 in some of the places. Was lower than that in some others. One of the things we found was that very few of the places had opportunity for any kind of a season pass, but that's still something that we may utilize. In fact, one of our recommendations, I think, will be to try and do a season pass for local residents in order to be able to give an opportunity for, over the long run, a reduced rate that doesn't end up paying the full day rate fee. And that could be either as a single pass or a family pass, but we're still working on some of those kind of issues. So I think as we go ahead with that we're really trying to match things up so that it is reasonable for the local residents and still meets the expectations of the financial constraints that we're under to make this place operate in a successful fashion. And now, John's going to talk about